Okay. All right. Well, we're live for the world to see. Probably going to bring down YouTube.
Broke the internet.
The candle went out. Is that a bad omen?
It's not out yet. It's dying slowly.
Oh,
Just keep dumping wax out of it.
yeah.
That's better.
Hold
Then it will
on.
just go back down again.
Oh. What do you want to talk about? Thank you for that.
Thanks, Francine. Near-term human extinction. What? Near-term human extinction.
Near-term extinction, the 6th extinction event.
The myth
Just
of
for humans.
objectivity.
Just humans dying out.
Yes, I'm from that.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like if you can get to the root of the objectivity thing in some manner, then all the subjectivity has to obviously clearly just be. If objectivity is wiped
Yes.
the slate, then subjectivity goes with it.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you can talk about whatever you want, and objectivity, subjectivity can still just go on,
That's right.
do whatever the hell they do.
Go on their merry way.
But
No, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
it's just like not what's actually occurring. No, I dumped probably way. You know what? You're good at making hot chocolate. Will you
Yeah.
assess if that's like way too much, and I should put some in, or put some in there? But
Well, along those lines, you could say it's useful or entertaining to be on the lookout in your own experience for the call it the inflection point of thought.
inflection point.
Yeah, you see, we might think that we're thinking all the time, but we don't notice how much organic silence there is in our own ordinary experience.
Right.
By exploring the imaginary inflection point or the imaginary genesis of when thought reaches for your attention and apparently holds your attention. You can sense it, you can actually see it, you can feel it, you can notice it in your present experience, how you're organically vacuous and thought or representation or entertaining oneself or telling and committing to a story appears. You see, you're not thinking all the time. I mean, you could say you're void of thought just as often as you are imagining that you are thoughtful, thought-filled. So silence of mind is, it's not some rare or difficult to notice accomplishment that only comes to really earnest spiritual masters, most of whom portray as men.
Yeah, how about that?
You don't have to go very far or work very hard to notice that your present experience is not dependent on thought, is not measurable by thought, and you can simply step aside from what appears as the momentum of thought or the momentum of identity with no effort, no quarrel. You just notice the silence that's already in you or upon you. Yeah, with no effort, with no delay. So if you get a few moments glimpse or lengthy glimpses throughout the day of how easy it is, how natural it is that you are not being pushed around by or processing present experience through thought. So the game then is, you could say, to learn to trust, or to learn to immerse, to learn to loiter in the organic and effortless presentation of your experience, unaided and unabetted by thinking. Your attention doesn't become any less. Arguably, you could say your attention becomes more formidable, actualized, textural, when you're not corralled or or held hostage, held hostage by thinking.
Well, seems like it's not just thinking, not so much, but the thinking about being an object.
Well, you see, those are unicity.
Well,
Those are,
thought can just kind
They're
of
the
be
same.
like a buzzy background thing that's occurring that's not really super oriented. Like it's not very
Yes.
heavily identified with
Yes, it
object.
can.
It's just like music playing
Sure.
through the radio or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, so you can see how the sense of object arises spontaneously through the marriage of thought and attention. If thought's ambient, it has not so much, places little demand on you. Once that ambient background field of thought becomes a story told, right? Data repeated.
And
Then-
heavily identified with this object.
Well,
Like, 'cause-
you don't even have to use heavily
Well, yeah, just at all.
at all. Yeah. Yes. Right.
Yeah, that is a kind of an interesting metaphor, the idea of like just music and
That's
thoughts,
right.
like playing on the radio are like the same.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's bizarre to see how if you're listening to a song, you're not like constantly getting hijacked. You're not constantly as much being like, oh, that's about me. Why are you talking about me? How come you said that? This like
Yes. That's what we're looking
filtering
for.
it through.
That's what we're looking for or emphasizing or considering is attention or awareness or the recognition that presence is so, but you're not hijacked. It's quite marvelous. Presence is so, but you're not hijacked. So it doesn't have, you don't know what to think about it. You don't know what to feel about it. You don't know what to say about it. You have no agenda. You have no plan. How difficult could it be? Presence is so. You're not hijacked. You're not looking for a thing, not an explanation, right? You're not looking to resolve anything. No quarrel with delusion. Nothing to fix. Nothing to ensure will be in your future. Wisely, because you don't have a future.
Well, yes, it's very fine line between like you're not actually an object in space and time identified with various things through subjectivity, yet it can present as that nonstop all day long.
Doesn't it?
Over and over and over again.
Doesn't it?
So that's bizarre.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The miracle of awareness, of interest, curiosity, and texture, of wonder is not dependent on anything. Not your thinking, not your mood, not your interests and sentiments, not your body, not your birth. Awareness is frighteningly, if not ecstatically, perfectly autonomous. Which is strange.
I was trying to get at earlier. That was just, it's so weird to see that whatever you want to call awareness, I don't know what to call, I don't know how to word this because it feels like most people would say what's inside, but that's not, you know what I mean? Oh, what's on the inside is not expressing on the outside, but that's not, so it's like there's awareness, there's something that's aware. And the felt sense of that can be totally incongruent and not aligned with the way it's expressing the expressive nature of it in some way.
That's right. Yeah, what's showing up phenomenally is not paying any attention to the revelation of autonomous awareness.
Yeah.
Nor is autonomous awareness paying much attention to what shows up phenomenally, though they're not other than each other. I mean, to create a condition in which you find yourself, like right about here, you have to rely on some form of reference, some form of boundary condition.
Right. So that's kind of what I think the expressiveness, this isn't what this is, the awareness has no idea about subjectivity. How does it have no idea?
Yes.
Even though it is it doesn't seem to have really any relationship to subjectivity.
That's fun. Yes, it doesn't have any relationship with what we refer to as I, the subject.
Yeah, like whatever we think is going on.
Well, whatever we think is going on is now flipped into the realm of objects.
Yeah, so this doesn't seem to have awareness doesn't have a relationship with objects.
No.
No relationship with objects.
No, it's curious.
But it presents as them all day long, seemingly.
Yes, it's very strange. Yeah. You see, as your loyalty or your asan, meaning your seat, the seat of consciousness, your asan, simply rests in autonomous awareness as autonomous awareness, then fucking A, there's just no bridge to anything. Because you're not looking to create a condition or a bridge in which you will be fulfilled as a creature. I mean, really, everything can fuck off. Which includes you, which includes your sensate consciousness.
And whatever it is
That can
you're
fuck
doing.
off. You see, we want to be fulfilled as sensate consciousness.
An
Sensate,
object with some kind of subjective state
Yes.
that we've.
sensate consciousness cannot ever be fulfilled. Hi.
Hello.
Sensate consciousness as body, mind, or call it what you will, can never be fulfilled. Why is that? Because it's unreal. Ba-doom boom. It's a rim shot. Ba-doom boom.
It's not what's actually going on.
No,
It's so bizarre.
it's not what this is.
Actually going on, but yet that's what it's somehow duping itself.
Yes.
It's like the Divine Mother is like, I'm just so fucking on fire that I'm gonna see what will happen if I just objectify myself and then subjectively fucking I don't know.
Well, I mean, once it
My
launches,
God.
right? It's crazy. Once it launches, you're a crazy person. Yeah. Yeah, because you're swirling about in cascading implication, trying to make heads or tails of that nothing's happening at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're fucked. Yes. You know, that's why the species has 2 years to go. Right.
Well,
Well,
it's
whatever.
kind of maybe just I don't know. It seems to enjoy it. It seems weird. Like,
Yeah.
I think I enjoy it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know.
Yeah. Right. This is terminal hedonism.
Yeah.
Human life is terminal hedonism. Yeah. Why shouldn't it be?
I mean, that's all this is. In that there is no, it's never resolved, so it's terminal because
Yes.
nothing's ever created.
Yeah. I mean,
It's just
it's not that difficult to consider what you think is your life and see that it just won't resolve. You don't get to a destination, to any finality. Nothing obeys you, including yourself. You're just always splurging forth as, you know, as a disobedient, what is that? What's that illness when you have,
Tourette's.
well, yeah, Tourette's is good. Tourette's plus, what is it called? Oppositional disorder. Right? We are living in the imagination of self under the influence of pretty much nonstop oppositional disorder by insisting that we have a steering wheel and that we make decisions or choices and that the world or our experience of the world will obey us, will bend, will yield to our will. I mean, if that's not oppositional disorder, if that's not, you know, in 12-step parlance, what they call big baby syndrome, king baby syndrome, that's us, all of us, king baby syndrome. So we're flamboozled and befuddled to imagine that things that we do, think, say, decide, choose, bargain with will actually result in some kind of lasting satisfaction for us. But it won't. It never has. It never will. Get off the bus. Get off the satisfaction bus. Do you have, let's call it the courage, the cojones, to get off the bus? To stop micromanaging an hallucination? Really, just stop micromanaging this hallucination. That's where, not that it's a place, one's fulfillment can be found. Why is that? Well, because you're not trying to micromanage a hallucination. You've relaxed sufficiently enough to actually, you could say, abide in what this actually is, not what you think it is, which is cascading implication that never amounts to anything. This never amounts to anything. I mean, look at your life. What has it amounted to? Even if you had, gobs of money or celebrity or tremendous success or political influence or whatever, remarkably successful people have, their life hasn't amounted to anything either. I mean, it's all apparitional. Freedom's just another word for nothing left to lose. So it turns out the ease of being, to borrow from Jean Klein's, book of the same name, is already exactly what this is. And the abiding in that is metaphorically the movement of autonomous awareness, not free from the hijacking of subject and object. How far away could it be? Duh, what the fuck? I mean, if you feel like climbing a mountain to go to talk to, someone that wears dreads and a diaper, rock on. But you could buy Lucky Charms at the Redners and have Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Go where you like. Yeah, you could have an encounter with the leprechaun on the Lucky Charms box, and you'll be told all kinds of secrets about the universe. If you're not in a leprechaun mood,
just get high and eat more. I'm like, okay.
If you're not in a leprechaun mood, go for Count Chocula. I mean, a vampire made out of chocolate? I'm in. Do they still sell Frankenberry, or is that off the shelves?
About Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch?
I make that every day.
Go on a cruise with the captain.
Years.
All the secrets of the universe will be revealed in a single bite. Or you could go to a healing expo and be befuddled by everyone that's befuddled by masters of the universe that don't actually exist.
Go eat Lucky Charms in the midst of there, and then you'll just be ridiculed by all.
Yeah.
By all the crazy.
I realized why I was so unpopular at my friend's wedding is because they were all vegans. I have nothing against vegans. I love them and I envy them, and I wish I could be one someday. But I'm a fat, bloated animal eater. I'm not very attractive. I don't smell good. My attitude sucks. And I think they picked up on that, and they were like, no, not talking to that guy. That guy's shit exudes animal flesh. It finally dawned on me that that's why I was so isolated and unpopular at that wedding. I wanted to connect with people, but I smell the way I do, and they were polite, but you could tell.
I used to be vegetarian. Then I met you.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
I went out at Moo Burgers.
Well, Moo Burger, that's,
It's the first burger in 15 years.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah, then you became an addict.
It's the gateway burger.
The Moo Burger's the gateway. It's It's the gateway drug. Now we take
All the
LSD and eat Moo
Yeah, all the
burgers.
vegans have to go meet out front of Moo Burger now, pick a time. Let's Gateway Burger.
Beware, gateway burger.
Do not come near here. Don't even get fries. Just don't go in the door. Can't handle it.
The milkshake's to die for.
Literally.
Yeah, literally.
And identity just had to go.
So I was talking to a lovely friend this morning that had a nice kind of, spiritual meth fluidity kind of on waking up, and remarked that he wanted to know what he could do to maintain, to sustain the awareness which set him free. And I said, well, wow. The first mistake was that you thought you actually had a valuable experience. Thinking that you had a valuable experience, which by contrast doesn't suck when you get a few moments of, oh, I'm not that. But by thinking that you had a valuable experience, then you objectified it. Then now that you're a self again, you're the creature again that had an experience. Your next move on the chessboard or the checkerboard is to sustain it.
That is like so constant. It's like
Right.
it just keeps. It's
Yeah.
like objectivity, and then the second that you're a fucking object, subjectivity is just. It happens so quick. It's like bam,
Yeah.
and you've got a life.
Well,
Do.
Peter makes a point when the point comes up to make it quite clear that the subject and the object are the same thing entirely. And there's no point in even emphasizing some kind of nuance between subjectivity of I am and objectivity, because the moment I am,
Yeah, you're done.
you're done.
Toast.
So there's no point in
Beyond
even
toast.
suggesting that one could be contrasted with the other, or that blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And the value of that is, hey, look, this is an inclusive, radiant insistence. I mean, right here, right now, an inclusive, radiant insistence about which nothing all that meaningful could be said. So subject, object, there's no time. There's no time for anything to throw you off. Is that weird? There's no time for anything to be held responsible for what we might characterize as being off our game. No, there's no time. There's no genesis. This is very strange, because we think, oh, I got up on the wrong side of the bed, or I had a thought, or I stubbed my toe, or there's some reason why I'm suffering today.
And
Or I can't get ooff my- I can't get off my obsession.
Fucking off.
Yeah, I can't get off my obsession about, Pebble Hill, let's say, or Nirsagadata. To me, they're the same. Nirsagadata, Pebble Hill, it's all the same. You see, so we think that something happened, or a decision or a choice that we made, or event or something set us off in delusion. Well, that's not true.
Just something. I'm sorry, all I could think of is there was this ridiculous post, and it was a dog in a car going, I just can't get the smell of that chick's asshole off my mouth. It's like the same thing,
It is the same thing. I just can't get the smell of that chick's asshole off my mind.
That's good.
Something like that, It's like, I just can't, right? It's like, the smell, it's just so animal.
Night Sky
I know it's
Sangha,
not actually, but it's,
the finest spiritual metaphors that could be found anywhere.
That would be an interesting
polished.
circling up, wouldn't it?
But that's true. I mean, that's what this is. It's exactly that. Your one sense of I, me, my is, I just can't get that chick's asshole off my mind. Yeah, the smell. Yeah, that's what this is. And to see that whatever condition you think you're in is not causal, is not the reply or the response or the outcome of anything. You're not the outcome of anything. You're not actually conditioned. It's not possible to be conditioned. So the Buddha can't give you any meaningful insight into why you suck. He'd like to think that he can. And everyone that's, postulated since that time are like, oh yeah, well, aversion and attraction and dependent origination and, anicca and anatta and dukkha. And, it goes on and on and on. And everyone's like, oh, well, now we know why I suck. No, you don't know why you suck.
Smell butts.
Yeah. You don't know why you suck
because that's what they do.
if you suck, the sucking is presently appearing. It's nothing could possibly be the consequence of anything else because nothing fucking is happening here. It's just implication. It's just mirage. You cannot find the reason that you suck sometimes, nor can you find the solution to the imagination that you suck sometimes, because neither one is valid at all, ever. Though you can whip together an autobiography that looks like you've sucked a lot. Or that your experience sucked a lot. That's how strange this is. Or at least one small way that it's strange. There's no genesis for what you call your present experience. There's no building block. There's no justification. There's no temporality. However, you're free, let's say, to imagine. If there's free will, and there's not, but were there free will, you could say you're free to imagine. And take delivery of whatever it is that you imagine. If you feel like you'd be better off bound by what it is that you imagine. Having a good life is for muggles. You don't need one. That could be kind of relieving. So the outcome of that phone call, we touched on a lot of fun, kind of heretical topics. But we kind of left it at rest in delusion. All this is delusion. There's no reality here. There's no truth here. There's nothing to be found that's meritorious at all. So if you're never going to improve on this, or you're never going to improve on yourself, well, you may as well just rest in delusion. Rest in it, rather than quarrel with it, rather than outsmart it, rather than insist that your life will be meritorious by virtue of what you choose and decide to do. I mean, fuck you, in the most loving way you could imagine. Just back off. Rest in dukkha. That's a little counterintuitive to all of this shit that you hear from the fucking Buddhists and the fucking Hindus, including the Advaita Vedanta Hindus or the Neo-Advaitists.
But it's interesting because it produces instantaneous results. I
It does. Curiously,
there is a serious, I don't know, energetic, I don't know what to call it, but
What produces instantaneous results?
resting in delusion.
Yes. Rest in dukkha. Rest in delusion.
Another way to put it is you just completely let it have you.
That's right. It's already
Just
got you.
Put down the dukes, man.
Yeah, just you put down your weapons.
Yeah,
Yep. It's a hell of a lot easier.
you're always hiding a weapon somewhere.
Yeah. Well, that's
Case.
that's
Pen
how.
knife down the.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You got a nice.
Like they just keep coming out. You're
Yeah.
like, oh, that one, that's in my shoe. That's.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like that scene in when Mel Gibson goes to Thunderdome and keeps pulling all these weapons out of his clothing, guns and knives and bazookas and you know. Yeah, put down your weapons.
It's a painful process sometimes. If you're resisting putting them down, it's painful.
Sensate consciousness is loaded with tricks.
Fucking tortures you till you just surrender.
Yes, that's what it does. It does. It tortures you until you put down your weapons.
Well, you just see so clearly that thought is not, like, you can just be totally delusional and like still gigantic sort of energetic shifts and changes occur and things just it's like clear that thought is not running the show. What's occurring is something much more,
Yeah.
much bigger.
Yeah, I get nauseous sometimes walking around the house wondering what the hell this meat puppet is and what I'm doing apparently on top of its shoulders. Like, it really freaks me out, you know? Or I'll talk and say stuff and I'm like, God, I'm a poser. I don't even know what I'm saying, but it looks like you have conversation and you want to make a point or you want to agree with someone or talk about something important and you're just so routine.
That's what I mean.
So you're a routine meat puppet apparently stuck on your own shoulders and you're like, get me out of here, Mr. Wizard.
Well, that's the bizarre, like, it feels like a weird schizophrenia, yeah, because you're like, inside, you're like, I didn't even mean that. I don't even know what I'm talking about, but you might look like you're having a conversation with
Oh,
the greatest
God.
conviction, and
Yes.
meanwhile, you're like, I don't know. I don't even know. You're like watching yourself do it and just be like, what the fuck?
Really? No, it's a painful evaporation of one's own sense of identity and seemingly, hi, how are you? Seemingly, adhere to this meat puppet. You can't seem to get off its shoulders.
You can sit here if you want.
Yeah.
Take your footrest.
Footrest.
Yeah. So then the only thing to do is self-pleasure. One way or another. One way or another. I'm gonna get you. So you're reading Nisargadatta lately?
No, I
Zen, what do you got?
finished his last book a while ago. I started actually reading Eckhart Tolle's.
Oh, God, you downgraded.
Well, it was like sitting there, and I had
Which one?
Uh,
The Power of Now.
no, I think it's the other one, A New Earth.
Discovering your life's purpose.
Yeah.
You know, I was like kind of like a blanket like Eckhart Tolle like hater, you know?
You were?
Yeah. And
Sweet.
'cause I had watched like maybe
It's
like
hard
one
to
of his
watch.
interviews or something, and I'm like, man, like I just can't do it. Like, you know, we're just speaking two
You go
different
too much
languages.
like E.T.
Yeah. So how's the book treating you?
Yeah, the book's actually really good. Yeah, he's a better writer than he's a speaker, I guess. It's entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah. How's your pain body?
Being entertained.
There you go. There's nothing like an entertained pain body. That's right.
It's been referred to as, I think, the leprechaun rat bastard here.
Leprechaun rat bastard. That's a good one.
With all of the utmost
see,
respect.
To write a book, to hook your attention, you have to make this about something. You have to create what appears to be an entertainingly or satisfyingly causal journey, right? Yeah. there's this, and then there's this, and there's this, and this because of this, and that because of this, and this because of that. And as you delve into the depth, let's say, of the hypnotism conjured in the book, then you are thrilled to start making the book about you, because you identify with the genesis that's being promulgated in the book, because it's a fiction. I mean, the book is science fiction. It may be in the spiritual shelf, but everything there is science fiction. So then you identify with what's being spoken about in the book, the stories and the pain body and the power of now and whatever else, what other implications are there. And then you feel like, oh yeah, I'm spiritual.
Yeah, and that's one big ego trip, definitely.
Yeah, and so
And he even says that, but it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm still like, bam,
bam,
we're doing the thing. And it's like the whole time you're just like, I'm just a fucker. Like,
yeah,
but
yeah,
These are from hell.
Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. I mean, so when it's like years ago, kind of when Eckhart was just starting to launch into popularity, I'd see him at smaller venues when it was still affordable. It's not affordable anymore. You could fucking see the Rolling Stones for less money than it cost to go see Eckhart. Unless, of course, you're paying through the video subscription. That's cheaper. And the place was just packed, And people were, getting off on their thrilled sense of identity and camaraderie with Eckhart and his Power of Now or New Earth story. So they were being fulfilled or filled, which is how we entrain to delusion. We become fulfilled. We identify with the protagonist or the antagonist or the hero or the villain somehow. And it becomes about us, right? So a good book that's written in that genre clearly speaks to you, becomes about you. And so a certain kind of pride or satisfaction, and I'm not, denigrating those or deriding those, but a certain pride and satisfaction occurs and you feel fluffed up. Yeah. So Eckhart is kind of like the fluffer that works on a porn set. He fluffs you up so that you're ready. You're ready to enjoy yourself.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Raw as it gets, man.
I've never heard about that role on a porn set, but I've learned something.
They're taking
I did,
applications,
like-
and you'd probably be pretty good at it.
Oh.
That's a good way to retire.
Take that as a
man.
compliment.
Yeah. There's no the fluffer does not consummate they just keep
Simply a little flow.
it going.
Gotcha.
Sparky.
Speaking of
Listen here,
fluffers,
Sparky.
Here he is. Yeah. He's worked on many a set, that Sparky.
look who the cat.
I was watching you online, listening. And,
And you jumped in the car and you had to come over?
had to come.
He had to. He's like, Hugh and I will come in right when they're talking about the porno fluffer.
Yeah.
He was waiting for
Oh, I missed that
I
part.
think I left when the Moo Burger came up.
Oh,
They're talking about Moot Burger. I should go.
Huh. It'll come back around. So that's nice. It's nice to be,
It's not that, it's something else. But, whatever.
yeah, that's right. If it's not that, it's something else. Yes. Yeah, right. So you may as well, choose your vegetables according to taste. Yeah.
Call any vegetable.
Call any vegetable and the chances are good do that the vegetable will respond to you. Frank Zappa. Eddie, are you kidding?
Where were we?
Don't know.
That's sidetracked.
Oh yeah, back to the porno set.
Yeah,
You were
good
explaining
selection.
to Nan what a fluffer does.
Yeah.
In case she needs those skills for retirement.
It's got nothing to do with marshmallow peanut butter sandwiches.
It
You
could.
like said that, and I'm like, is he mean like fluffer? You just say like, yes, the porno fluffer. I'm like, nice.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah. I meant fluffer nutter. Yeah, that's something you put on a peanut butter sandwich.
Another
Yep.
question, I'd have the chair height.
So you see how association is streaming, you could say forward, or streaming as presence itself. Presence and association are, right, bosom buddies. They're the same. And that's what lures us back into, right, personal story, space and time.
When we take presence and associate it with
That's right.
the I, the
Yeah.
object
Mhm.
itself.
Yeah, right. And you'll notice you can't actually find the, can I say, the methodology or the geometry by which that occurs, can you? You can't. That's interesting to see, because all of these suggestions we've been given by Eckhart Tolle and wiser people that wrote about this shit before him would like you to think that you can actually get a bead on dependent origination. But you can't, because there is no dependent origination.
Yet it happens.
What happens?
Well, you're calling it dependent origination, the identification.
Isn't it just a mosh pit of reality?
There's the instant identification with stuff,
Well,
self, or whatever.
well, this is interesting. That doesn't actually happen.
We tell ourselves it happens.
Yes, you dream it so. That's right. But that's not actually what's happening.
But
You
we're
dream it so.
making an assumption.
Well, we're borrowing from the generosity of time to convey an apparent genesis and implication. But there is none.
That's the distinction between doing and not doing. It's not physical.
Oh, yes. That's right.
It's not whether you're sitting still or not.
Yeah. I mean, as you sink into the primacy of your experience, not the symptoms of it, the primacy of your experience, which is not saying a word, which is not beholding to anything or anyone. That's the release. It's just this. This is the release. Release from what? Release from the imagination, the self-accusation that, experiencing is durational. That you came here for some reason after you found the keys to the car and flipped the ignition and drove safely to this so-called location. It's a lot of fun to feel yourself, feel the primacy of experiencing, and recognize or appreciate that it's absolutely autonomous, that it's not dependent on anything, it's not the outcome of anything, it's not causing anything. So one is bathed in the irrefutability of presence itself. And it's curious that presence texturally felt, consciously encountered, engaged with, we could call it that, is fascinating beyond imagination. Our nature is ecstatic fascination. If it's anything, it's ecstatic fascination. Suffering is when ecstatic fascination is aimed at circumstances, events, objects, and subjects from the vantage point of I, me, my, the creature. So we're still ecstatic fascination, but we've turned to a somewhat B-grade TV show. Try being ecstatic fascination, which is not that difficult because that's all you've got, and allow yourself, you could say, experiment with being fascinated with fascination itself, which is the incredible intimacy, the excruciating intimacy of this moment. With no outcome, with no betterment. Oh my goodness. This is very rich. Ecstatic fascination. That's all you've got. If you want to fill it with objects and subjects, rock and roll. The consequence of that will be one kick-ass pain body. Or you can, let's say, apply yourself, whatever that might suggest, to relinquishing having any interest at all in objects or subjects or space or time or one's health and one's validity and one's anything, one's belongings, one's spiritual progress. Yeah. I mean, God knows we've been working on improving this for as long as we can remember. And if you can't see, if you can't fess up and see that you've failed at that, get out of this room. This is not a place for you. Right? If you can't fess up and see that all of your effort and all of your prayers and all of your supplication and all of your good intentions and all of your incredible altruism hasn't amounted to anything at all. Sweet. Presence doesn't give a shit about you. And that's the good news. All of this preoccupation that we carry around as the creature is just self-imprisoning. Recognizing intuitively that presence doesn't give a shit about me, well, I'm going to make up for that in spades by caring more about myself than it could ever possibly care. And by caring so much about myself, I come to rest. Well, bullshit. Caring so much about yourself, you just end up in a neurotic shit box of time. You asshole. Hi, pleased to meet you. I am living in a neurotic shit box of time by caring so much about myself. And how about you?
Generally the same.
Yeah. Yeah, pleased to meet you. Let's date. You don't want to be too lofty around this crap, you know? Because once you go lofty, it's a big mistake. To go lofty makes it look like this is something. Not only is it something, but it really rocks. Or like, you know, I mean, my guru, Peter Brown, will say stuff like, you know, he'll imply it, you know, you really want to see this, you know? Yeah, I'm telling you really, really, really want to see this. Why is that? Well, because it's the shit. So once that occurs, and I'm not suggesting otherwise, it's just that once that occurs, then you objectify yourself and you objectify whatever it is you imagine he or she or whomever is talking about. And now you want to have, you know, that's right. Gimme, gimme, gimme. You want to have that experience. Yeah. Because we can't help but to objectify and fetishize whatever it's coming at us instantaneously with no delay. So the risk is that now, you know, people around him either feign awakening or perhaps even had some kind of awakening. And then on every recording, they just make sure that the audience knows that they're whatever they are. Yeah. It's like, you know, Peter, it's really cool the shit that you're saying, but ever since that event that happened to me, you know, it's like, wait a second, you guys have gotten it's a little, what's that called when family members start fucking each other?
Incestuous.
Incestuous. It gets a little incestuous.
It just doesn't seem to get outside the, and I mean, I'm guilty. I don't know how to get outside in terms of like asking a question, the idea of objectivity. It's like, well, one time when I don't know, it's all like me.
Yeah, that's all you need is one time. It's like, no. Yeah, one time something happened to me. Oh, tell me all about it. Yeah. See, we're so frightened of seeing that nothing's happening to us now that we have to go back and insist that something happened to us then. You can't really speak about what you think is happening to you now. Try it. The moment the aperture of reference occurs in you, you're lying. You can't opine. You can't say with any confidence at all what is happening to you now. Why is that? Because nothing is happening to you now. Nothing happened to you then. And nothing is going to happen to you in what you imagine is the future.
Seems like what's happening is just constant association. You know, it's just association. So you say something and I associate with something that,
yes,
you know, that so-called happened.
So
happened.
let's say constant association is happening in this space. Let's say between the so-called ears.
Yeah.
But the awareness of constant association or the capacity to remark upon constant association is happening beyond, right? There's no container. Yeah. Yeah, see, there's no actual container for this being whatever the fuck it is or isn't as presence. So you can't really remark upon your present experience, whatever that might be, without lying, without coming up with some kind of reference or contrast in which then you can speak about. But that's not the case. This is a rather wild inclusivity. And here's your freedom. Not elsewhere. It's just this. And it's revealing itself to you not in a coy manner. It's not withholding anything from you at all. Your absolute freedom is not withholding anything from you at all. This has got to be it. So if there's such a thing as awake or a realization, Well, that sure as fuck can't be an event. And it sure as hell can't happen in your future. It can only be this. Like it or not. So you can be released from the reflex of assignment of what about or how about me. Poof. You see, if you track the hysteria of reference, then that, you could say, creates, or that is, for poetically speaking, the genesis of time. Awareness, tracking, reference is time and self. So time and self, you could say, are suggested by virtue of awareness, tracking, reference. It's not like you were born. Yeah. So if we get a little sense of that, like, oh fuck, if I'm tracking the profusion of reference, that is self, that is time. So the wise arhat, the stream entrant, would say, well, fuck that then. I won't track it. I won't track reference. Voila. No self, no time.
It does seem like there has to be some kind of confidence that you don't have to track it. Because like most people think they have to track it.
Yes, what we refer to as samsara or delusion is simply the reflex that there's some benefit to you by tracking the movement of reference. Yeah.
Well, it's the whole socialization experience of a human being, right?
Maybe not.
I mean, it's a lot of training that goes
There's
in.
a lot of tracking there.
A lot of training.
Yeah.
Tracking.
Yes, but you see, once you objectify it that way, then it's like, and I'm not accusing you of saying this, but it's easy to think that once you call it a human being or you call it conditioning and you look at the so-called history of tracking reference, then you've created another, an atmosphere, a universe that has implications by saying, well, we're conditioned. It's impossible. What you're talking about is impossible because we're conditioned. I'm like, excuse me? You know what I mean?
It's another shell.
It's just, yeah, that's right. It's a shell and a shell game. Yeah, that's right. It's a subset. It's a subroutine. Yeah, it's a shell game. Yeah, there's no human. There's no conditioning.
There's no need to explain.
Clearly that. Yeah. I mean, what don't we understand about fuck you? Why do we get insulted by that? I mean, it's like, it's good news. Who'd you say? Fuck me? Oh, fuck you. If God says, fuck you, say thank you.
Yeah. As you wish.
As you wish. Thank you. Like John Lovitz, right? Acting. Baudelaire. Thank you. Really mean it. Hey, you shitbox loser. Thank you. Fucking poser asshole. Thank you.
So glad someone finally noticed my talent.
That's right. That's right.
Someone's
Here's
finally
looking at you. Never amount to anything. Thank you. You wonder why this shit's not that popular.
Can't explain it.
Can't explain. I can't explain. Hmm. Really, why do you care how you feel? Oh my God. I mean, really, look at it. I mean, we are completely, apropos of our earlier conversation, pussy whipped by how we feel.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Terrorize myself.
Yeah, you're
I feel
terrorized
bad tomorrow.
by how you feel. Who's made who? Who's bitch?
I always like to you feel bad and you're like, oh, this is wrong. I shouldn't feel bad. What's wrong? And you're like, damn, I feel bad that I feel bad now.
Oh, it's a loop, right?
It's like
I'm like, I'll
walking.
just go back to feeling bad.
Yeah. Stay simple.
I like to take heavy substances when I get to that point.
Yeah. Substances are good.
Walking on eggs around.
Oh, that's what we need for heroin.
I mean, this sense of pride, may or may not have a lot to do with this compulsive insistence on how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how I'm perceived by others. What should I do that's valuable with my otherwise absolutely unnoticeable life? If my social network isn't, fluffing me up, what will? Because I'm unnoticeable. And I seem to have a real problem with that. Ouch. As we imagine that this is about something, or that's some kind of supremacy, perhaps in the sky, with or without a beard, having whatever gender you prefer, is responsible for this, we feel achingly alone. And irrelevant to a fault. But if that's not the case, well, it turns out then you're all that is.
And you turn that into loneliness instead.
Well, check it out and see. If there's no other or otherness, well, then you're the entirety. You are the radiant inclusivity.
Find the entirety.
You also.
We have a lot of fest next.
Yeah.
Cuddle party.
By,
I gotta go.
It's a little too much.
I brought the ecstasy.
Oh, really? Wait, I'm in.
You're in. Yeah, she's in. If there's a drug,
Well, I mean, I don't cuddle without ecstasy.
I'll cuddle up with this shit now that
pretty
there's
much I'll
drugs.
just do anything for drugs. You're right. You're
She's
true.
such a whore.
I know.
Really.
I'm out. Wait.
You
So
fucking
much
drug addict poser! You good for nothing shitbox! Thank you.
Someone's finally noticed my talents.
Well, what else would you like to talk about?
No.
Let's come up with a theory. Then we could come up with a teaching. Then we could work the teaching. Then we could become certified in it. Get a uniform and then sell it to others. That's a good way to make a living. Selling bullshit to muggles.
So I hope.
Muggles have
Yeah.
cash. What's wrong with that? Their cash is good here.
Now let's just hang out and eat chips.
Chips.
Yeah, no, muggles are a lot of work.
Yeah, being one, or I like to think of it as muggle husbandry. Keeping muggles around, making sure that they're fed and there's fresh hay.
I see a how-to book coming up here.
To
Right,
keep muggles in line.
that's right. How to raise muggles for fun and profit. Start with your parents.
Good luck.
Yeah. Just seal all the toilets and put a bunch of hay in the living room. How to breed muggles.
I think it has something to do with fluffing.
Yes, you have to fluff them, then you breed them, and then you sell them to multinationals as a workforce. They don't complain about much, and if they do, just militarize the police.
Keep the mistakes and change them.
Yeah, that's right.
Give them soma.
Give them soma.
Ironically, they'll
Right.
praise those people.
And harass the dark-skinned ones. They're always a problem.
Unless they have drugs.
Seems to be a theme going on over here.
Yeah. And that
Then you just
zone
invite
over
them to
there.
parties.
Uh-oh, there's a theme. The moment there's a theme, you've become thematic. Is there some spiritual teacher we can make fun of, maybe? That's always fun. And now is the time of our program where we make fun of a spiritual teacher. You pick one out of the hat.
All right, everybody, get your tomatoes. We're bringing up the picture.
What do you guys do at the Night Sky Sangha? Like watch videos and
What you talk about tonight? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
what do you watch videos and like tapes of gurus and stuff and then like talk about it? Yeah, that's what we do, Jeannie. Fuck you. Pink boa'd asshole.
Oh,
What?
And she said, did she have that?
Yeah, she wanted to know what we did at the Night Sky Sangha. Oh, you guys like watch tapes or meditate and stuff? Oh yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. We all pray to Adam Chacksfield. Hey, I love everybody. Who do I have to fuck around here to be taken seriously?
Maybe you should sign up for a dating website, whatever that dating website is,
Cupid.
and mark all of the above. Poly.
Yeah.
mono.
Oh, yeah. Right. I'll sleep with anything.
Just
Cadavers welcome.
click all the buttons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone's welcome.
Right. If you're dead, don't hesitate to email me
Or if you know someone who's dead, but they still need a good
because
fucking-
I will nibble on your shit as long as you're above ground. Is this spiritual? Help me out.
Animals, okay.
Oh.
No, I think
Come
that's
on,
what
there's
we
got to
need
be a
do.
serious spiritual topic we can take up for the sake of improving our lot in life. There's got to be something. I'm hoping there's some.
Maybe the sound of crickets chirping.
This really shouldn't be allowed to happen.
It usually isn't.
You keep trying to get kicked out, it doesn't work.
This is not in keeping with the spiritual code of ethics. It's very strange when this becomes, when it's felt as its original freshness. You see, we're always sensing and feeling or relating to experience through the lens of familiarity, through the lens of the known, through the lens of the creature, through the lens of knowing what day it is, what time of day it is, where I am, why I think I'm here, where I'm going next, and what I'll do once I get there. That's not fresh, right? So we're under the influence of this more or less intense, nonstop presentation that places us in a coordinate field, spiritually, psychologically, behaviorally, somatically, right? In all cases, we're always under the influence of this remarkable melange of coordinates that gives us some sense of, like, I know who, what, where, why, right? So there's no freshness there, is there? Yeah, there's just not. So therefore, we go in search of banal entertainments, banal refreshments, so that we can get a little something from this, a little something. I'm not asking for much, right? You, God damn.
The same time we do that, we see through it. That's the frustration. You know, it's total bullshit. It will not be satisfying.
Well put.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, there's also that kind of curious utilitarian schizophrenia that knows better than what we think we're up to.
Yeah.
You go back
Yeah.
to the well and it's like, yeah, this doesn't even do much for me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
So the real yearning,
You're just
Like
not drinking
squeezing
enough.
it all out. There's nothing left.
squeezing it all out, indeed. The real yearning is for the revelation of ecstatic fascination, which is fresh.
You don't get to it by a program.
No.
Can't you just buy it?
We try. We try to buy it.
We do.
Who's that guy that runs Virgin Airways and all of those related businesses?
Oh.
Sir Richard Branson?
Yeah.
He's buying it day in and day out. He's always buying something. He's always buying and selling something. I mean, he hasn't called lately. I mean, I keep, leaving messages, but, I don't know whether he's reached saturation of nirvana or whether he's just buying and selling shit.
You can't buy it, you can't earn it, you can't steal it.
Hmm.
Do you watch The Walking Dead?
I am the one.
He's watching us right now.
Yeah.
I just had a good scene in that. It was a guy put him in a cell. He's there with a zipper clip, working away the one bar for the longest time. The guy finally comes to whatever thing he's going to release this guy. He's like, the door's open. It's been unlocked the whole time.
Yeah.
And the guy's slowly opens it. Fuck.
Yeah.
And
That's
then a
us.
few minutes later, when he said, you can sleep on the couch, whatever. But then he just was sitting in the cell. And
He went back in the cell
Yeah.
because he realized he was such a psycho.
Oh.
Safer in the cell.
I belong here.
Is that us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we just?
That's
You haven't
right.
tried the door yet.
Okay. We're so convinced that it's locked.
Yeah. Yeah. We refuse, again, involuntarily, we refuse the force of freshness. We retreat from the force of freshness by going to thought, by going to reference and
So many
association.
things going on.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just the habit is so strong or bad. I don't know what it is. It just seems like I don't even give it a chance.
Yes, that's right.
And when I just give it I mean, that sounds, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Kind of dramatic. I don't know. But
No, it's well
there's
put.
something
How many
about-
people meditate? Relatively few, you could say, amongst the population, if there were a population, because we won't give it a chance.
Yeah.
It takes a very curious kind of invitation to consider sitting on a cushion or whatever and doing nothing for the first time in your life, to take stock of yourself without being completely impaled by constant distraction.
It's like just compulsory mechanism or something. Constant.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. The inertia, the power of restlessness and delusion is quite kick-ass. But it's kick-ass, you could say, in the envelope of absolute autonomy. And that's the discovery. The discovery is to like, wow, this is really kick-ass, but it's not binding. So then you rest in delusion. And you might discover by resting in delusion and not quarreling with it that the conditioning, so-called, of restlessness and avoidance becomes quiescent of its own accord.
Yeah, you just sort of stop fighting it.
Yeah, that's right.
Water goes over your head.
Yeah. And then the miracle of your attention can actually feed you, let's say, with, let's just call them curious vistas, right?
Yeah, what you used to consider a so-called object.
Yeah,
It's just a curious vista beyond
yeah,
you're like, it still looks exactly the same
yes.
as this, but yet it's totally different.
Yes, it can do that, right? It can be the same as what we took it to be a minute ago or a day ago, but it's...
Yeah, you can't really compare.
No, it's really
ridiculous.
strange. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so awareness, whatever that is or isn't, stops objectifying. And then where does it go? Well, where it's always been, if dare I say, in love with itself. And that's not objectifiable. That's not subjectifiable. If everything is as they say, light, whatever that implies, then the entirety of experiencing, whether the five senses or imagination or thought, or is that, it's right, radiant certitude. Washed clean from the presumption of time. But the metaphors are endless, because this turns out to be, an infinity. Not necessarily of quantity, though that's one way to look at it, but an infinity in that it's not finite. You're flowing in a field of absolute ambiguity, of imaginary implication. That's the infinity. Whee!
I mean, I tend to want to go to this so-called next step, but I'm afraid it's the next step in a downward spiral, to put a blame on it, to put a blame on that as mind-body, the existence of mind-body. Therefore, there has to be this attention to mind-body that self-reflects. Not that it matters. In other words, just because there's a theory, I'm having this conversation with myself. Just because there's
We know that. No one here is listening to a word you're saying.
That doesn't matter. I'm so interested in what I have to say. Just because we have a theory.
Come on, everybody. Sparky's talking. Hey, everyone. Sparky's got a theory. Come on. That's what it's like. Hey, I got an idea. Hey, Bonnie, I got an idea. Hey, I got a theory. Hey, I know what this is. Let's get some ice cream.
Let's celebrate. Let's give it a name.
Where were you on Tuesday, Bugsy? I was at the ashram. Yeah, I was at the ashram.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah, I was doing yoga. I was talking to some guy about the divine, Flatfoot. Yeah, we were reading some Nirsagadata, Flatfoot. What's it to you? So you were at the ashram, eh, Bugsy? Yeah. Roger Rabbit said otherwise. What'd he say? He said you were at the billiard hall having an argument with Vito. Nah, was at the ashram, I tell you. I was doing Zen. Yeah. Was getting some access bars massage, Yeah. Yeah, I saw Mother Mary, as a matter of fact, and a vision. Yeah, that's where I was.
We've got to call them men in the white coats.
It's time. It's time to take them away.
We've called, they said they won't come.
Yeah, they've tried that
Yeah.
before. They know
Yeah,
better.
we've been called.
Wait, Jeff? Sorry, no.
Wrong number.
Yeah.
We've been called about this guy before.
Yeah.
He keeps slipping out of the van. What's it to you?
It's a matter of life and death.
I see a graphic novel coming up.
Something. Any questions?
Why not?
Volleyballs. That's what Bill Cosby used to say.
Yeah, everything Bill Cosby used to do is suspect.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so right after he had his pillow fluffed.
Ooh.
Wow. Maybe there is karma.
Armageddon.
Armageddon me some Armageddon.
Looks like everybody wants to go to sleep here and just hang out, stay for a while.
I've been sleeping.
We're gonna
Have a slumber
do a
party.
seance later. Get out the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Let's bring in the dark spirits.
Let's smoke some puffy and bring back Leon Russell. Oh, he's still alive.
Kind of.
Ah, you can go.
It's like nobody's making the move to go. And I'm not going to be the first.
And I'm not going to be, this time, I'm not going to be the first one.
We're almost there.
Well, it's kind of, it has it's kind of nice just to not give a shit about yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go eat, so.
Oh,
So you're gonna be the first.
where are you going to go?
Give a shit.
Where are you going to go eat? Oh, home?
Yeah, eat some chicken I cooked last night.
Oh, we'd all join you if you're going to go to like Applebee's or something.
I don't do that kind of shit.
Yeah, that's not real food.
He only eats chicken and
But that's the only place that'll let us stay.
That's my place that was.
We get kicked out of every other place.
So what's this new place? This is like a
What's that?
Bye.
Delaware Valley.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Delaware Valley
Rock on.
College or university. whatever.
Yeah, let me turn off the broadcast because thanks for joining us, everyone. I hope it was as much fun for you as it was for me.